Hey folks, welcome back to Canada's Boxing Channel. Hope everyone's doing well, having a good day. I was pondering something that we talked about yesterday. When I say we, I mean Jerry and myself. And that was this really nonsensical idea that the YouTuber, influencer, promoter, Jake Paul would actually fight the former two-time unified heavyweight champion of the world, Anthony Joshua. And I mean, I spend very little time talking about people like Jake Paul because as good as he is for women's boxing, I mean, MVP Promotions has done like wonders in that space. I don't really think of him as a real boxer. Like obviously he's worked out really hard. He looks great, and he's obviously got some skills. I mean, as much as people might say, oh, he's a joke or whatever. Like clearly he's, I don't know, would he like sort of, I don't know, regional level type fellow? I'm not really quite sure. I guess it depends on the region you live. And so, full credit to the man for doing that, getting himself into great shape and actually risking things, including his health. I was thinking initially reputation, but his health by stepping into the ring. Whether it's stepping into the ring against, the likes of Tommy Fury, against whom he lost, or sort of celebrity type opponents, like, well, most famously Mike Tyson. I guess there's some risk involved, so I can't be like wickedly critical of him. There's an awful lot, myself included, who if I had anywhere near the money he had, then I would probably, spend the rest of my life on a very nice island, eating and drinking myself to death. But it got me to thinking about a broader picture. And that is, should real boxing allow real mismatched fights, even though they may be very entertaining? And I say real boxing to distinguish it from what is commonly called, misfits boxing. Maybe it's got other terms. Misfits is what I think of. I think that's maybe a brand name even. That's KSI brand name. I'm not too sure. But anyhow, the point is that there is a space sort of over there for these sort of novelty or gimmick fights. And people make money doing that, of course. And if you want to do that, if you're a fan of that, if you're a promoter of that, a manager of that, a participant in that, I clap my hands. Great. Go for it. That's your space, right? But real boxing, I mean boxing that's covered by like the British Boxing Board of Control or the New York State Athletic Commission, wherever you happen to be, real boxing, I'm not sure if I'm comfortable with it sort of allowing, licensing, endorsing, regulating, sanctioning these sort of mismatched fights. Because as entertaining as it would be for Jake Paul to fight Anthony Joshua, it seems that it sort of almost brings the sport into disrepute. Plus, there has to be a greatly increased chance of injury when one party is either giving up a tremendous amount of age, of weight, of skill. And, do we, to put it absolutely bluntly, do we want to see a slab on a table? A body on a slab. What am I talking about? You know, the point is that somebody could get really badly injured to the point of, well, they could get killed, I guess, right? And that's sort of, as a fan, do we want to see that? Like, are we comfortable with seeing that? Personally, I'm not. I even was sort of like, you know, very uncomfortable about Francis Ngannou fighting against, first of all, Tyson Fury and then Anthony Joshua. Now, I know people would say, well, Francis Ngannou is a combat athlete, a combat professional athlete. Fair point. And if he was to be wrestling or MMAing with a professional boxer, then it would be a very one-sided beatdown, one would assume. But he stepped into the ring with Tyson Fury, and I'm not really sure what happened there. Did Tyson simply not try? Was he take it too lightly? Did Francis Ngannou get lucky? Francis Ngannou actually performed way better than anybody expected. But then, against Anthony Joshua, that massive skill gulf was exposed. And, you know, when Nganu was laid out, I don't know about you, but I felt, ooh, it just gave me that really bad feeling. So for me, I think that the real boxing ought to have, guardrails in place to prevent mismatches. And that can be, a weight mismatch, skills mismatch, age mismatch. And you can probably think of lots of other examples. And normally, if you go back some years, people would say, well, of course, yeah, there's no market for that. Real boxing isn't interested in that. But with Turki Al Sheikh, sort of like saying, oh, I'd like that guy to fight that guy. I think the likelihood of mismatches has risen. And I'm really curious to what you think about this. So let me know in the comments section. Should real boxing sanction or endorse obvious mismatches, in a way competing with the misfits space? Or should real boxing say, no, we're going to have metrics in place to ensure that we don't see that kind of stuff? And if you as a consumer want to see that stuff, there is that marketplace over there where that's your desire to watch that can be satisfied. Let me know in the comments section what you think, and I'll talk to you on the next video. Thanks for watching. Cheers.